Aloha. Zara is one of the brands managed by Inditex, a fast fashion industry company that is traded on the Spanish stock market. The owner of Zara and the founder of Inditex, Amancio Ortega, is by some estimates either the third or fourth most richest man in the world. He has kind of an interesting story in terms of how he got started in business. You can go read about that online. What we're interested in today is why are we looking at a fashion company in a course devoted to understanding how information technology and information systems help us to run a business. Zara is an interesting case because they've used technology in certain ways to become highly profitable and to become one of the leading fashion retailers in the world. Yeah. So what we're going to look at with Zara is how they've approached their technology-enabled strategy to kind of defy most of the primary assumptions in how to succeed in fashion retail. Okay. First of all, there's three rules that the author mentions that Zara pretty much breaks, that most fashion companies try to follow in order to maintain their profitability. One, advertise a lot. Number two, utilize sales to clear out old inventory. And number three, outsource manufacturing to keep the costs of clothing production low. Okay. Zara doesn't really do any of these. Okay. They don't run heavy advertising campaigns. They run sales, but only on a very limited basis, and that's tied to their production and inventory model, which we'll get into in a minute. And lastly, at least 60% of their production is done in-house. Zara is considered a very vertically integrated company in a similar way as you might think of with Apple. Apple makes the software, they make the hardware, and they own the retail distribution. So the manufacturing, the distribution, and the retail divisions in Zara are all managed primarily by the company itself and not outsourced. Okay. This creates some interesting opportunities for Zara to compete. Okay. Now, before we continue, I want to emphasize Zara's approach to fashion. Fashion in general is a very time-sensitive industry, right? If you show up to work or you show up to a party wearing clothes that were manufactured, that were designed 15, 20 years ago, or in some cases 5 years ago, you would stick out. You're not fashionable anymore. One of the executive officers of Zara said that fashion is like yogurt. It goes bad after a while. Okay, so they approach fashion as a very consumable product. And in this regard, they want to make sure that they can produce something that has a very short but responsive production time. Okay? Hence this label, fast fashion. Zara was one of the pioneers in fast fashion, which is we want to be able to go from idea to test to distribution to full sales in a very short amount of time. And when this idea goes out of style, we don't want to be stuck with a lot of extra inventory that's unsold that we have to clear out. So this is the basic idea with Zara, and this is what enabled them through the first decade of the 21st century to really take off. Is they designed a system optimized for quick, rapid production. Think of this as just-in-time fashion. We're going to focus on small production lots. We're going to focus on lots of iterative design, getting feedback from the customers, and we're going to look at very aggressive distribution and pricing mechanisms, all surrounding or that have embedded the very careful but strategic use of information technology.